You're just relaxing.
Happy New Year!
It's the New Year.
Merry New Year!
Is that how it goes?
Merry new happy year. You ever notice
Trading places?
the Green Giant and Santa are never in the same place, but they both say ho ho ho?
Is that a coincidence?
I don't know. You know, I've never seen them in the same place. Have you?
No, I'm not.
I
don't think
can't-
anyone's ever referred to the Jolly Green Giant as an elf. A jolly old elf, though.
No.
I don't know.
Well, this show started, with a whimper.
It's the thing.
One's about cookies, one's about vegetables. I don't know.
Or is
So,
that just alter ego?
I never, you know what? I never thought about it, but I bet the Keebler elves make cookies off season
See?
and work for Santa
Okay.
from October on.
That makes sense.
Like they do that hard
Right.
push for toys, and then they need some
Cookies.
time off.
Yeah.
And Santa's like, cookies. Go back to cookies, and then they get burnt out on cookies about halfway through the year, and he's like, toys.
That's
How you keep
Yeah, they have to
the
be more
elves
organized.
excited back and forth.
we really need to better organize what the heck we're going to talk about when we do these shows.
I mean,
I
there's
saw
an idea of
We have a whole plethora of guns.
Yeah, but how did the Jolly Green Giant and Santa's elves? We didn't even talk about that.
Have you ever met anybody in the store before? Squirrel!
yeah.
Squirrels. Yeah.
Squirrel, and it goes, and then you follow and chase the squirrel until another squirrel goes, and then you follow and chase it back. Are
Okay.
you saying that we know another squirrel and chase it back?
Are you leaving?
No, he's like, so right now it works.
Are you leaving?
Bill's
For real?
leaving, so when it breaks,
For real?
My kids, yeah.
it's
Really? How do we stop this?
I'm not hungover.
Two to the
Brian.
chest,
I
one to
didn't
the
drink
head.
last night.
We're here all day.
See ya.
One to the face.
Oh, yeah, we saw that happen.
Jack says.
Yeah, that's what Jack says.
When in doubt, one to the face. Although he doesn't actually train for that.
Who is
Yeah, he said.
Doesn't practice for that, but
So we're talking about Texas, White Settlement, Texas. The church shooter. Yeah. I think he said that he recommends all of his students not do what he did, but it was the only shot he had available. Or
Unless it's the only thing available, and if it's the only thing available, he actually put in there. What was
Did you even introduce our guest?
I think everybody watching.
Everybody probably knows. Jay Brown
Greetings.
is the people's Jay Brown.
I am a
You're regular around
yes,
here.
a regular. Right. Right.
And so, what is ultimately? I know that Phil just said, "Hey, you want to come and hang out today?" But
Yes.
What brings you to the range on a normal basis?
Normal basis, the people, the gear. So I shoot competitively primarily, and I see these guys. They're pretty much your whole staff, or most of your staff, is fairly prolific. Yeah, in the shooting sports, obviously Dustin, running the matches here. So generally, yeah, I come up here to shoot competitively and hang out with people who do that too, and people who are keeping up with technology in the shooting sports better than I am. I mean, some of the stuff I've never even seen before, but a lot of it I have, obviously. I think everyone in the world has one of these.
Yes. Basically, what we did was pulled out a general list of some of the most popular selling items this year. Last year. From pistols to rifles. You got some alternative pistols.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
interesting.
think that's what we'll call
Is it an alternative pistol or an alternative rifle?
Man, it can't
Well,
be a rifle.
When I
It's
marked the
classified as-
4473, it says pistol.
Yeah.
And I put the check box. But this pistol looks a little different than say this pistol. I believe it's something a little more than just capacity.
Yeah.
Because in some states they want the capacity of these two also to be the same. So
Is that one of those AR-15s that weighs as much as 10 boxes if you're moving and shoots
Yeah.
the 50 caliber round that needs to be
50 caliber
regulated?
something.
Yeah, that's SIG. Yeah, Brian's asking about SIGs. That's a SIG, Brian.
Yes, Brian, there is
That's
some
SIG.
SIGs. I got a SIG here, we got a SIG here, we got a SIG here, we got some SIG stuff here. We'll get to that stuff. But yeah, so ultimately, top stuff. Let's get this going. Doing
So yeah, we were talking about Texas.
Right.
yeah, Texas
So-
stuff. First.
Amazing.
Couple of things. Good guy with a gun, stop the bad guy with a gun.
Yep.
The
And the
ba-
bad guy with a gun had a criminal history. 09 aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In 2013, theft and property damage. 2011 in Oklahoma. This guy, he faced arson charges. But after he was he was arrested buying lamp oil and tampons, soaking the tampons in lamp oil, then setting them on fire in a cotton field. He's also been known to soak a football in lamp oil, light it on fire, and play fire football.
Kind of sounds like fun.
I mean, fire football, I don't really think that, is that really, maybe it shouldn't be a crime.
Right, I'm just.
But yeah,
saying,
it's
this is
weird.
the guy,
It's clearly
this is
disturbing.
definitely an
So let-
off guy.
So he's a felon
Sure.
Yes.
who can't own a gun, so we're all safe.
In fact, he was arrested in 2016
Oh.
for unlawful possession of a weapon
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah,
I'm sure they didn't tell him that it was wrong that he had a weapon, because then he would have listened.
It's not his fault.
Right. So it must not have been his fault. So
Anyway,
he'd gone to the church multiple times asking for food and
They'd
money.
actually given him food
They
and
gave
money.
him food,
They'd taken
they
care of
would not
this
give
guy.
him money, and he would get very mad when they wouldn't give him money.
oh, that's right.
Sadly, it was the 10th anniversary of his brother committing suicide. So there's some thoughts that this was his way of getting out of his own head, his family is saying. So, but I think one of the most important lessons that we take from it, or some of the most important lessons, are they had an active group of individuals at
Security
the church
team.
Security team.
that had taken the role of a security detail on their own. There was no money exchanged for that. There's no pay or anything. That's just their goodness that they wanted to be part of that service team, or the security team. Practiced.
Yep.
It's clear. We're always, a lot of us would talk about capacity and more rounds and good. One.
Used one. You
6
made.
seconds total.
Yep.
One round. And when the threat was stopped, the round stopped. So,
What a great shot. 30 plus feet, guy moving.
Right.
Other people in there, 2 rounds have already gone off, and he had the
let's
composure
not
to
forget
put a
two of
round on target.
You're right. Two of the
Yeah.
gentlemen who were on that team didn't survive.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things. Obviously, it went just about as well as you could have expected. He got the drop on him.
Yeah.
A couple of things for me. The first gentleman that was shot.
Yeah.
I wish that he'd had a little better holster. I wish that he'd had.
we don't know what holster he has. We don't know what he's got. But
It's obvious from the video that he was wrestling with getting his gun for
Yes.
way too long.
Yes.
For way too long.
3 seconds, almost
Yeah,
3 seconds.
and it put him in a bad spot. You're not going to outdraw a drawn gun. Now, I'm not. We can all Monday morning quarterback. That's not what I'm doing here at all. I always try to look at these things as learning opportunities for me. Should I find myself in that position? But guy's absolutely a hero. He stood up and he was a participant in the activity. He wasn't just going to be a victim. But unfortunately, the bad guy won that portion of the contest. But the fact that a church saw the need to not have a gun-free environment, to have a security force with some training, saved countless lives. If you watch that video when he took the round from the good guy, he had leveled that shotgun and was preparing to engage another target. He absolutely saved a bunch of lives there. So
absolutely, and he did say that he had to slow down and wait because there was other parties in between him and the active shooter. But that's one of those things. You have people that are prepared. Right after that shot went down, there was a number of other people in the congregation that also were carrying. That did draw It's where it kind of gets a little sketchy because you've got a lot of guns pointing at a lot of the wrong things. So when your church, if your church has gotten to that point where we want to have a security team, let's remember that the training doesn't stop at just deciding we want to have that. So we need to have
that's where it
some
starts.
training.
That's where it starts, yeah.
We need to be working through this. They need to be going through it as a team, as a group, with some situational things that are going on. We've got to be very disciplined with our muzzle. We've got to make sure that muzzle is only pointed at things that we're willing to destroy at all times. And it doesn't matter what the situation is. So there's quite a bit of this kind of thing, and looking with the threat had been identified. It was taken down. Not saying that there couldn't have been other threats, but running around pointing, I don't think is necessarily what we want people to do.
There's always going to be something that we can learn from, but all in all, could not really have gone a whole lot better than it did.
Right.
And I like the fact the gentleman that actually kind of saved the day, the hero, so to speak, he is an instructor apparently, and said that I had to wait because there were people between me and the target until I got a shot. And then the only shot that I had was a headshot, which I tell my students never to take. But in that choice, in that stance, I didn't have a choice. All good stuff, all good stuff. So hearts are with that community and those families. And but for the rest of us, train, practice, have good equipment that you use, that you're familiar with, so you don't have to think about it. Some other just observations are there. If you'd had a little bit of some hand-to-hand skills, the second gentleman that was shot, the deacon that was literally right next to him, if he'd been able to actually engage with hands, again, may not have happened, may not have been possible, but again, not training Monday morning quarterback, just looking for opportunities to learn and grow. And
it could have gone a million different ways, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
But yes, the trying to get aggressive and close they're teaching that now in corporate active shooter classes. So I hear from people who are taking their classes at their office, and it says if you're pinned in close, get aggressive, be super aggressive.
Most people aren't. I can imagine wouldn't be ready for that.
No, it's how do you tell someone to turn that switch on like that without it already?
How do you tell somebody stick your thumb up to the second knuckle in his eyeball?
Yeah,
that's not a natural thing.
No, it's not.
So
people are either like that or they're not, I think. But still, the kind of training you were talking about the 5 or 6 civilians that came up at the end of the engagement with the guns drawn. By that point, they were just reacting way too slowly, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We had one guy who was able to react appropriately in a timely manner. Everyone else struggled, and I think we need to work towards being better than that ourselves.
well, I think there were a couple other things that were really, really good that they did. Is they had identified that he was a challenge. He was somebody that they needed to keep an eye on.
Correct.
And the gentleman that was actually sitting down that was engaged first, it was obvious that he was paying very close attention to this guy. The guy that got the shot off was paying very close attention. So kudos on that they'd identified the potential for that. Because if they hadn't and they just allowed that guy into the room, it could have been a completely different story as well. So that's a really good thing. But again, always be aware. And, that's a tough thing at a church because you want to be open. You want everybody to be there.
Would have been a different story in a bar.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with walking up to somebody and saying, "Hey, brother, welcome to church. I haven't seen you before. My name's Ron. What's your name?" There are
You gotta
things.
be careful getting handsy there, Joe.
There are. But
Joe Biden hugging
my point is,
Yeah.
they obviously did something prior to this shooting that had put them in a position to be able to react, and so good on them.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's been about a year and a half ago they decided to get a security team. They had a number of different homicides within a mile of this location, and this was a new location that they had just moved into a year and a half ago, and so they had identified that this was a less than great area for them to be in, and that they needed to take some extra steps to make sure they stayed safe.
Gun-free
looks like
zones.
it worked out well.
Yep.
It's a good conversation to have.
Good on
The
them.
gun safe zone they took the we're protected by them zone. So if you are a group that gathers together in a normal fashion, be it a church, a synagogue, I don't know what other kind of
That's another thing. This
things that are there.
that stabbing.
Yeah, the synagogue stabbing in New York.
Was that a synagogue or a home?
It was a home, rabbi's home. That's right.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the rabbi home.
I guess
stabbing.
Yep.
But there's been, I think, 13 attacks since in December against the Jews in the
Yeah.
New York area.
Yep.
13 just within New York. I mean, New York's a big place, but
Well,
still.
it's a real big place,
Yeah.
but 13, like that's why you even have both sides of the aisle, surprisingly, jumping up and like this has got to stop. So,
Yep. Well, you know what? It's transitioned over into just our political process now. If you support one person over another, you're being spit on and
yeah,
punched, blindsided, and
yeah, and it's totally okay
terrible.
to not agree with people and to have
Yeah.
a disagreement and live your life totally normal.
It's possible, people. It's possible.
Right. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't understand these people that if
need-
you like this, then you're absolutely terrible because it's one thing.
Yeah.
And what if the other person feels the opposite? And this like
For some
now
reason,
you're going to
yeah.
end up going to fisticuffs over
Or
the
worse.
fact that Glocks are not as good as Smith and Wesson.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of people struggle with something to stand up for, so it's easier to stand against something, right? It's-
Maybe, yeah, that's
they
an
define
interesting
themselves
point.
as something.
Maybe that's it.
This isn't what I'm
Interesting
for, but
point.
these are all the things I'm not for. How about that?
I think the truth of the matter is that our environment's different, our social atmosphere is different. We all obviously need to learn to get along with each other and respect each other, but you need to actually talk to your families and your friends and your coworkers about just being actually aware of what's going on around you and recognizing that evil exists, and you may have to do something to protect yourself because you're going to be the first one there. So train, be aware.
Train. But if you are in one of those groups or otherwise and need some help, let us know.
Absolutely.
Phil
does a phenomenal job with that
good
stuff.
job at that, and we can go from everything. The stuff on the table is not the only opportunities you have to defend yourself.
Nope.
They're just some of the options and some of the, in our opinion, more successful options.
They're really cool options.
And they are definitely kind of cool.
Yep,
options.
yep.
So,
Well, we
let's-
say,
let's
come
go
back to that in a
over
minute.
the
Do
stuff.
you want to do that now?
Right. Let's get off of the bummer stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
Because
talk about stuff
there's, there's
fun.
even more bummer stuff. We had stuff happen in St. Louis to kick off
Oh,
2020
yeah.
in a bad way.
What, nine
Nine
people,
shooting,
10
5
people,
dead.
something like that. New year, people.
Brand new year.
Hey, no more
Come
killing
on,
people.
come on.
However, because of that, we have a number of different things that were popular this last year.
So we took a look at our history last year. Chris and I did this morning. And we just said, what were people really interested in this year?
Yeah, that's gonna make
And the number one firearm, kind of by
surprise,
a
sort of.
pretty substantial margin,
But yeah,
was the P365.
really substantial margin. Almost double the amount of
The next
of
ones?
the second.
Oh man.
Second tier. When
Yeah.
you count up all the different variations, this one happens to have an annual safety on there.
Does that include all models of the 365?
Yeah, all the models. But really, really good gun. Night sights, manual safety options. There's a Coyote version.
Yep,
There's
FDE,
an
NRA
XL, which
version.
is longer in both directions.
SAS.
10
Yeah.
rounds in a compact gun like this. 12 rounds, 15 rounds. That's a lot in a little bitty package.
It's a great
And
tool.
it really doesn't shoot like a baby gun.
No, it
typically
shoots great.
does. It shoots really well.
Great tool, serves a lot of different purposes, well-earned reputation.
Yeah.
First real full year for the gun, but
Yep.
we didn't delve into it very deeply. I mean, the Glock 19, right, is like meat and potatoes.
Sure.
We always think that it is, but it was actually down quite a bit.
A lot of vegans though.
Even pulling the numbers.
So I did a little bit more digging. If you include Gen 3s, Gen 4s, Gen 5s, MOS,
Yep.
right? They got all these different variants.
Sure.
Front serrations, no front serrations. You
Almost
add all
as many
those
as
up.
19X.
Add all those up, and it's still a contender
Almost
for sure.
as many as the 320. 320 was another one that this happens to be the M17 model.
Does that
So
count
it's
as a
got a
320
bunch
then?
of different variations.
It does.
I'm totally counting it. It says 320.
Okay, just curious. As an outsider,
So
just wanna make sure.
it is a pretty neat deal. It's a really cool platform for customization and tweaking that size.
Lots and
to
lots of
whatever
options.
size
Yeah.
you need.
Change grips, change triggers, flat triggers,
Yeah,
optic
so-
ready, with safety, without safety. The military's adopted it, so, it's gonna
Two different variants.
be
too.
all over the place. Very, very, very good, high quality firearm.
Yeah. So another one that comes with night sights. You have manual safety options, optic ready options, threaded barrels,
Triggers,
9
grips.
I think
Yeah.
40, 357 SIG.
Yep.
All in the same thing. Really, really popular gun. So it's really kind of taken off. Another one that really was a total surprise to everybody, including Glock, being such a success is the variation of the 19 in the 45.
And the 17.
But that doesn't count as a 19 when you're calling.
It's the 19 and the
Right.
17 getting
Yeah.
funky.
And that I think is why we're not seeing the 19 be quite as popular,
Yeah.
numbers wise, as some of the other Glocks. In fact,
I
the
think
number
that's
one
really good.
Glock this year for us was the 43X. Comes in a two-tone, comes with some night sight
Or black.
options.
You can get it in
an
black as well.
all-black version. But then the Glock series of fun was really the 19 and the 45.
Yep.
The 45 is surprising because everybody was asking for the opposite iteration of that combination.
Longer
They
slide,
wanted a
shorter
long
grip.
slide, short grip, the 19
Yep.
grip with the 17 slide. And they're like, oh, we did what you asked for. We combined the 17 and 19 into the thing that's the opposite of what you asked
And
for. And it's
everybody was
great.
like, "Oh, it's terrible!" And
No,
then the
it's
19X
fantastic.
sold like 100,000 units.
Yeah, fantastic gun.
I will tell you, I shoot the 45 better than I shoot the 19 or the 17.
That's crazy. Is it just because the more grip you get on it?
It's something about the shorter barrel with the greater grip gives me better balance. I shoot that gun better than I do. I don't shoot the others poorly.
Right.
But that gun is a better shooter for me.
I'm not a Glock guy. We all know I'm not really a
Yep.
Glock guy.
You like
I
that
will
gun,
give them their due.
If I were to buy a
It will
Glock,
always
it's
go
that
bang,
one.
but
Used gun now.
it holds up to the
Drive safety works when you don't load it, that's for sure.
right. But I'm a really, really big fan of this one. This is the 45 that's got front serrations, rear serrations, obviously. It's got the cutout for the MOS platform.
It's the civilian 19X, right? I mean,
It's the LE version of the 19X.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of where this thing came from. The cops saw the 19X and were like, I gotta have one, but I need it black. And so we have the 45.
Yep.
And I agree. I think the shorter slide, it seems to react faster.
Yeah,
I do.
absolutely.
I
My
agree.
perception is that it doesn't do as much
Yep.
up and down. I know that's a Fulcrum thing and yeah.
well, you've got, a
but
little more room on the grip.
It seems like
Helps.
I get a much firmer
Yep.
grip. That action just seems like it is ready before I am.
Yep.
And it's just. it's a
If you're
really,
from
really
Glock
good
and
shape.
you're watching our video, would you please undercut these a little better so that I don't
we don't
friggin'
set 'em
get so I don't get blisters on my finger when I'm shooting?
yeah.
That's my biggest.
Permanent callus.
Well, if
my
we're gonna
biggest
do
challenge
that,
with
then
my
can you also
Glocks.
like change the angle and make it.
Make it a
continue
CZ.
to Make it
Can you
less
just make it a
boxy?
CZ?
Yeah, can you make it also a CZ? Yeah, no, I was just looking at that. I mean,
Great
you've got-
choice.
You probably
Good
have
gun.
deformed fingers too from all these trigger guards.
Yeah,
It's messed up.
weird.
Somebody doesn't,
Right.
nobody cares about us.
What else? What else? What else?
Another big one, the Shield EZ.
Oh, that was
a lot of things about
this.
that.
This was a very, very
Super,
popular
super
option
popular
and well
gun.
earned. Clear.
Yep.
I like.
Try that trigger.
I like this pistol.
Is that an internal hammer?
You said don't.
I
Is
said
that the
don't
22?
try to.
That's a 380. Yeah, that's not a 22,
It's
dude.
a 380, really, really easy slide to manipulate. Have you
Is
played
this
with
a
that?
no, I've never even held it. Is it? Is that a striker gun or is that an
It's a
internal hammer?
striker gun.
You sure?
No.
That's an internal hammer. See the?
Maybe that's how they made it all fancy.
That's crazy. It's like a single action, I guess.
Yeah,
Grips-
so it's
grip
got
safety.
backstrap safety or grip safety. It's It's got a mechanical safety on there. It does come in an option without that, although the majority of them that we get in and sell are the ones with the external safeties as well. It is ambidextrous on that. The biggest thing about this, it's built for people that have less upper body strength. I mean, you can literally work the action.
Super
with
easy, yep.
Very, very little trouble.
Yep.
It's just a tad over the 22 version.
Yep.
So great for those that have less upper body strength.
Any physical
arthritis
challenges,
sufferers,
yep, absolutely.
Stroke victims and that sort
Older
of thing that
shooters,
need something.
yep.
Does it translate into a more violent impulse, or
Not at all.
That's what I
Really?
would have thought too, but somehow they put some sort of a magical thing in here that it really doesn't shoot bad at all. It shoots really pretty soft. And in the 380.
Have you shot the 9?
I like the 9 better. They,
Okay.
they ended up coming out with it in a 9mm version. It is a little bit stiffer in the spring.
As it should be.
But I think it's perfect. I think
It's
it
still
shoots
much
even
easier.
softer than
Yep.
this one does. I've never been a big fan of the 380 round. This is the first gun that I've really went like, okay,
Makes sense.
I
it
can see
makes
value.
sense in that
Yeah.
now because
Yeah.
this thing really, really shoots really well. Really for a 380, it's really, really nice.
Yeah.
then
And they've got the new-
9mm version is
Just
really just as
Yep.
good, if
Yep.
not, in my opinion, better because you get the 9mm. So,
slightly larger frame, slightly larger slide,
over the standard
slightly-
shield. Yeah.
yeah, or over the 380.
Oh, the
Yeah,
9.
the 9mm. But that spring is literally, it's, what do you think? It's probably 30% less pressure than a standard shield
Oh,
in 9mm.
I don't know. I'd almost say almost 50%.
Yeah, it's substantial.
It's a
Wow.
It's substantial.
It's a huge difference, and I mean, I am a shield guy. I love my shield. I've had it for a number of years. Put a lot of rounds through it, and that slide is tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the easy part. If you have questions about the 380 or the 9mm easy, come shoot them. We got them both downstairs.
Yeah, we
Really?
have both of them downstairs.
Got them both downstairs. They shoot great.
Put some rounds through one. Put some rounds through the other.
Yep.
Okay. And they're both single stacks, 9, 3.
Yep.
Both
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Try to keep them thin. That's
Yep,
great.
yep.
Yep, really, really good options.
So that's kind of,
So some of the other ones
Well-
that rounded out were
More
43,
blocks.
42s. So that kind of rounds out the top 10 as far as
Handguns.
overall
Yeah.
handguns.
where's my wheel
pistols.
gun? Where's my wheel gun?
One wheel gun.
So on the non-traditional pistol side,
It's gonna be that Python.
we had a lot of Saint pistols. We sold a ton of those things.
Yep.
In fact, we don't even have one on the wall to even show off right now because we have sold them all. The Ruger 5.56 pistol,
Not
also not on the wall because we don't have any more left. MPX Copperhead, that
Yep.
little bitty MPX.
Oh, yeah.
We've sold a ton of those things. But again,
It's interesting
the hardest
because,
part is keeping any of these things in stock.
yeah, it has been. The interesting thing for me is that since the ATF is not, clear?
Yep.
Since the ATF is not complaining about this thing on the end,
The brace.
doing this,
Right.
it has actually, I think, cannibalized some of the typical AR sales because people are going to a pistol because
I think it's
they
a
can shoulder it.
variation. Yeah, I think it's a variation because what you're also seeing, and remember that I think it was 2000, was it like 4 years ago, there was 100,000 people that had an SBR stamp.
Sure.
Total.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in 4 years, it's now up over 400,000.
Yep.
So you have 300,000 people that have SBR'd their rifles or pistols, whatever, to make them short-barreled but full rifle with a stock. And then you've got all these non-traditional pistols that, for all intents and purposes, look just like an SBR, but they have a brace that is designed to be somehow working in conjunction with the arm for stabilization, and what do they say? Occasionally situationally or
Maybe allowed to make contact with the shoulder.
ostensibly or something like that can be put against the shoulder and fired. So basically, you can misuse your pistol however you want. You got all these non-traditional pistols that have really capitalized on
Yep.
that idea.
There's a lot of benefits to it. In SBR, you need permission to cross state lines. You don't.
Correct.
You don't need it with a pistol necessarily, as long as it's legal in the
Yeah.
state you're going through.
Correct.
Definitely some other things you have
Some
to pay
states
attention
you can
to,
actually
though.
keep
There are.
a loaded pistol in your vehicle.
Yep.
But you cannot carry a loaded rifle in your vehicle.
Interesting. Okay. I hadn't thought about
But there are just other things you got to pay attention to. No vertical grips unless it meets a minimum distance length requirement, which is
Man, that
completely
one-
arbitrary
6
because
inches
it's
or
where do you
something.
start
Yeah.
the measurement, end of the measurement.
Well,
So just
they tell you where to start the measurement and how to measure it and so forth. And if you want info on that, don't take that from this
Go to the
video.
ATF.
Yeah, no.
Yep,
We
go
ain't
read the
playing
bill.
that game. It's confusing. It's 26 inches. In my opinion, it depends on how you read things. I don't agree with people being okay to do this weird fall into the middle thing. But other people are reading it in a manner that says that it's totally cool. So
Go with
there's
an
a bunch of
AFG.
weird, but
Yep.
let's keep it standard. No vertical grips. Angled grips are okay. Optics are great.
Slings are okay.
Slings are wonderful. Upgrade your triggers.
You cannot,
if you need to.
you cannot decide you want to put a stock on that. Make sure that you stay with a brace and don't alter the braces. Don't put a bunch of tape on it and move things around. I mean, it should be just stock,
Right.
a stock brace,
Right. Right.
but not a stock.
But we are seeing a big push towards like everything going to its free flow. So
Yep.
Well,
that's
it's superior.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
You get more accuracy.
there's nothing
Well, we
wrong
were
with the old
shooting.
classics.
We were shooting steel at 300 yards with our AR pistols. Last spring.
Yep.
I mean, it's a great platform.
Yeah,
It's
it's
do a lot
really,
of lot of
really
fun
good.
stuff.
I'm gonna put the honorable mention in there is the Banshees. We
Oh, yeah.
started carrying them partway through the year, but
Sold like
we
hotcakes.
cannot keep any
This,
of that
the
stuff in stock.
CMMG line is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great gun.
And so many options. I mean, 5.7, 10 millimeter, 45, 9 millimeter, 7.62, 39.
Yeah, they've got
It's like
7.62 by 51.
7.62, 50. That's right.
5.56.
You just had head guy
22.
ordered a 308.
Wow, 308.
Yeah. That doesn't suck, does it?
No.
I keep hoping they come out with a 5.45 mutant though. How awesome would that be?
I think my wife's watching.
Yeah.
That's not commit.
Speaking of 5.7, Ruger announced 2 pistols last week.
Awesome.
Let me just jump on this real quick because there's another one that just announced this morning that I saw. So Ruger's coming out with the brand new hottest carry gun on the market, the LCP2 and 22 long. I don't know why.
I'm gonna go right next to my wheel gun.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what purpose it has, but they've got an LCP2 in 22 long rifle that they just announced, and they announced a 5.7 caliber handgun,
Yeah, that's the one that's exciting.
which is kind of cool because the 5.7 is a great round, right?
Yeah.
Not the cheapest round to shoot, but it's a great round. Talk about flat trajectory at distance,
Right.
And I mean, a lot of fun to shoot. So there's another player in the 5.7 handgun category, and that'll be fun to see how that thing works out. But one of the bigger pieces of news, and I'm torn on this. Did you see that Colt announced that the Python is coming back?
Yes.
They're going to do it in a 4 1/4 inch barrel and a 6 inch barrel. Stainless steel only. Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a nap when I
And
get through this.
357 Magnum. Now they did beef up the receiver just above the grip, supposed to make it more shootable. They improved the rear sight, target sight,
Right?
and it's got those what you would picture on a Colt Python is those big walnut grips with a Colt emblem in. The gun, what we've seen of the gun, it looks super cool. It's very nostalgic, and I'm not I'm what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not
Colt
super.
told us we weren't cool enough to buy their rifles.
Yeah. So I'm not super. I'm not upset that it's coming out. I've missed the Python, right?
Fantastic.
A lot of people have
Yeah.
been looking for that. For
But
a long
I'm
time.
disappointed that Colt isn't looking to come out of the 1970s and get into the 2000s at least.
I think that's why.
I think that's one of their biggest
challenges.
challenges is right now is they just haven't embraced where the gun industry is now. And I think that's ultimately going to hurt them in the long run.
I think it's already hurt them.
It has hurt
quite
them.
tremendously
yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The fact that they haven't developed really or innovated, they've got the cold competition line of 1911s. There's like a few in that line that are,
And they came
that are
out-
a little bit edgy for them.
They
but they're
came
not
out-
edgy.
1911's like,
They came out with a Cobra line of revolvers a year or two ago. They're nice
So
too.
you
but
knew the Python was coming, right? Which,
Yeah.
I mean, the Pythons have been going in the used market for $5-6 grand for a decent example.
for nice one original box, yeah.
Yeah, and so and it's been like that for a long time. Call it the Rick Grimes effect. I don't know what the deal is, but they are very good. They're very good.
It's a great revolver.
Yeah. So it's great to see them doing this, and I think I saw the MSRP was 1,500 somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I think it's a great price. I think it's a great thing. I mean, if you know you can't innovate and compete with Glock, compete with Smith and Wesson, you just don't have the team to do it. Build what you know. People want them.
yeah. I hope it works out for them. I hope they're able to
I want one.
turn some things around. They also, I was not aware of this, but they make single action army revolvers as well.
They never stopped, right?
Yeah,
They did that for
yeah,
a
they're
lot of
still doing
cowboy
that. I
shooters,
was
think.
not
Yeah.
aware of that, but they do those in 357 and 45 long Colt, I think.
Yep.
I just wish they would stop putting those chintzy plastic grips on those things because they could be super cool.
but people buy those guns and instantly put their own grips on.
Yeah,
them.
that's kind of a thing.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing with those guns,
Yeah.
especially like
But
you're
if it's-
pointing out those sash
But
shooters.
if you're buying a nostalgic single action
whatever.
revolver, I don't remember a single action revolver coming out in the 1800s or
With plastic.
with plastic grips on it.
Well, it's just harder to get bison bone or whatever now.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. So anyway,
They're trying to keep costs
Couple-
down.
couple of new
Stuff
things
you're
that
just gonna throw in
just
the pile
announced, yeah.
when you put on your new scales.
and no, we don't know anything yet about the Glock 44. We haven't seen one yet.
I expect to be able to play with one at SHOT Show in a couple of weeks.
Right. Right.
Speaking of that, Brown, you're gonna be there,
I'm
right?
going to be there. Yeah, I'm joining the advanced holster team for the SHOT Show.
Yeah, so we'll have a bunch of people from us that are there, a bunch
Friends.
of our local group of shooters that are always doing the
Yeah, stay attention. Stay attention.
Stay attention to the
Pay attention to
pay,
Facebook and our Insta,
Yep.
Twitter, whatever, and because they'll be shooting stuff out all the time.
Yes, and we will have extra deals and so forth that we'll be doing, and you'll cause around all the chaos.
Yeah.
you guys are going to range day, though.
But let us know what you want. Yes, so let us know what you want to see, what we want to do. I know we're going to try and hit the Glock booth because I'm sure that they're going to have the 22 version. So we'll try and get our hands on that thing, show you guys how that thing shoots. We hear it's reliable. Supposedly they held it back for quite a while, trying to keep feeding different 22 ammo into it to try and continue to work on it to get it as reliable as a Glock is known to be with all 22s. And they're claiming that they went through 10,000 rounds with very reasonable numbers of not fired shots.
What is that? So the
Well, it's
22 1911s we
22s
have.
are
It's
junk.
22 rim
It's
fire.
Like
I mean,
22 rim
it's
fire
sturdy,
is
it's
just
sturdy.
junk when it comes to like
I like
really
shooting
trying
them.
to be 100% reliable like most of your centerfire cartridges go.
So here's
They're
what's cool.
absolutely a blast, and when you get one that
Yeah.
it goes,
Click.
oh, and then you try it again and it goes click again, you just get rid of that thing because it's just like dropping a nickel. No big deal. Move on.
Right.
Well, that's I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons, so Smith & Wesson has that M&P 22
Yeah,
pistol.
Which is one of the top.
It's one of the stalwarts. It's one of our best sellers. They sell a lot of them.
pistols as well as
Yep.
one of the top rifles. the 15,
And part of that
22.
is I can pick that gun up, practice, use it, learn on it, and then go pick up an M&P, a 9mm,
And the experience
and the gun
is-
feels the
yeah.
same. You know, controls are in the same spots.
Sure.
You know, things.
Same thing with
things. So I think
their
that
rifle.
Glock is smart doing that in the 22 because it's going to help them sell more Glock 19s. You know.
Let's hope.
And to be honest with you, the fact that when you're shooting a 22, if it goes click and you have to practice that,
That's good.
It's a good
Sure,
thing.
Yeah,
sure,
it's
sure,
not
sure.
it's not a bad thing for the practice side of things at all. No. But
So anyway.
supposedly they held off, so
we'll
get
get we'll get one or two for the range as soon as we can.
I'm
And
sure the Ruger will get to play with the Ruger. They're going to be out there touting their expensive 5.7, which is going to be awesome. I'm hoping they're going to give me more than one round to shoot to that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I mean, there's two alternatives for that round, right? There's the FN 5.7, and now the Ruger 5.7. What's it called?
I don't remember what they called it, you know.
They're about $500 difference between those two in MSRP
Yeah.
from what I saw, right?
They're saying like 700,
That's amazing.
799, I think, for MSRP, which is
So that's a Ruger, which means 650.
right, 650, about 700
Right,
bucks.
sure. Yeah. Whereas the
Actual
FN's
street price.
$1,300 if you find it anywhere, 12,
Yeah.
12 something.
Yeah, so you could actually get the gun and some ammo for the amount that you can get.
And
the
it-
some
gun.
ammo.
And a membership.
Right? And
And a tank of gas.
No, I said some ammo. 5.7 ain't cheap.
Oh, that's
so-
true.
No.
Okay.
And then there was, I read something that says it was a little particular about which kinds of 5.7 ammo that people were shooting with it, but still, even then, it doesn't.
There's a,
My
well,
suggestion would be to go to the
American Eagle or
Banshee 5.7.
yeah.
The only really competitor to the 5.7 I know of is the TCM 22. Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
TCM.
Yep, yep. That's a
Aren't you
funny
really
look.
cool?
That is a funny looking round too.
It is
man.
funny. Well,
It's like me. It's like this tall.
9
big round.
millimeters, squeeze the front end of it down.
Yeah, that's you're taller than me.
That's a fun round too. That not a lot of people know about that 22 TCM.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that, and
and
they're
it's,
ballistically
man, you talking about
similar.
fireball.
Oh
coming
yeah.
out of
Well, the
front
fact that
barrel.
Rock Island did that one with the interchangeable barrel and magazines. You
Oh, the
can-
911.
Yeah.
Was it 2011 or
2011.
9? Yeah, it was
2011.
2011
Yeah.
or
9mm barrel and mag.
double stack. 1911.
Flop them out. 22.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what
TCM.
you call that thing.
I
Whatever.
think the 2011 might
Yeah.
be a trademark.
Is it?
It's cute.
Okay, fine. We'll just call
Keel.
it the fat-bodied.
Yeah,
1011.
big double stack 1911, whatever. Anyway, yeah, very cool thing. I think, hey, whatever. The 5.7, I was talking to one of your guys, and he said that he wished Ruger would put a 5.7, like a 10 5.7, like a 1022 and 5.7. How awesome would that be? So maybe we got a conversation to have with Ruger while we're at SHOT Show.
That'd be pretty awesome.
They got the PCC, right? They got
Ruger
so the Ruger
yeah.
PCC to a 9mm, do a
chamber
do like
that,
a 5.7 conversion.
Oh yeah,
would be
rechamber
beautiful.
that and do.
They might. Yeah. So basically, you're saying make their PC carbine available in 5.7.
Yeah, but the TC, that's what the 1022 really is, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
22
yeah.
little carbines.
You know,
Look at this.
I'll tell you what. When Ruger came out with their tactical PC carbine,
Yeah.
it made a lot more sense to me than the first version did. I mean,
Oh,
you got
right.
lots of lots of room to put
a lot of
stuff.
them start showing up in competition.
I'll bet you have. It's starting to make sense to me.
Which, I mean, that's the place where you see things that, and are they going to die?
You see some
'Cause you
strange
see
things
the-
in competition.
That's a
you
good
see
point.
some real
Yeah.
odd things come
Yeah.
in some days, and then you never see them at match again.
Just don't-
and you're
don't
like,
use
what
them.
happened to your thing? And it's like, well,
Turns out you need to be able to do this.
I know I use this
You can't
thing.
do this. Yeah, right?
like,
Well,
what happened
but,
to the other one?
but at the
That
same
didn't work
time,
well.
you go to one competition and there's one of those. You go to the next one and there's 10 of them.
Yeah,
You know,
Depends on if it runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, MCXs,
Right.
MPXs that happened with them for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yep.
And which
So-
were on your list, weren't they?
Yeah, the Copperhead was on there.
Copperhead, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it.
And that's in several different variants too, but as a whole, and that's interesting because that's not a cheap gun. It's a $2,000
No.
PCC. It's
I think it's because people are willing to pay the right price for the right thing.
if it
It's
works.
just got to be
Yep.
a good thing.
Yep.
Otherwise, they don't want to spend a bunch of
Why-
money on that thing.
yep.
They want to spend a little bit of money on
even
that
if it's
thing. I mean,
$10
we are
bucks.
seeing like the Taurus G2C and G3. Like those,
Right?
those are
$200 gun. or less.
very, very
They run though.
lowly priced guns.
Yep.
They are down. They are north of the high point mark, but they're down in that range.
barely.
They're playing in that
Yep.
range.
Yep.
And man, it's a whole different ball game
Yeah.
between those two.
Yep.
I tell you what, that Taurus has been doing some good things lately.
I hope they take what they've learned and introduced in that G3 with the trigger and update their G2 series.
Yeah, the three trigger is much nicer than the two.
Yep. And I think they'll do that.
The G3,
I think they'll probably do that. So.
G3C, whatever. It's interesting.
So non-gun stuff that we saw, optics-wise, Holosun for us,
Hollison's
huge,
been
huge
really
winner
well.
this year.
Two of my favorite.
Make great
optics, and
stuff.
then Two of the top five of not even counting just optics, but just non-gun related accessories. These two, each of them about $300. That's the green one.
Great sellers, great,
Yeah, I
great,
mean, just
great tools.
phenomenal. They've
Work-
got
yep.
the shake-away technology. A lot of the Holosuns have the solar panel that charges the capacitor, so you run on light when there's light. You run on battery when there's not light. 50,000 to 100,000 hour battery life out of these things. It's ridiculous.
great optic, great optic.
They stand up to a ton of abuse. I beat mine on a pretty regular basis, and it hasn't.
And you run it on a Frankenstein or a Mutant.
Yeah, I
you
run it
know.
on a Mutant, and I mean it gets beaten.
So it gets
thrown
jolted
into
a little
buckets,
bit.
It gets thrown
Yep.
onto tables.
Grab that optic
smashed
right
into
there.
Stuff.
SIG optics this year
Sig, it was another one.
were
that was
really
big.
good.
Romeo
That
5.
Romeo series, really, really good
I mean,
optic.
It's just so super simple.
Great price point too, $125 and up, depending on what you want, you know, for an option. They've got Shake Awake on them. Tell you what, and I think another thing is that size. A lot of people like that size, and it's a great
size.
fit on a lot of the AR
Oh yeah, it's
pistol
perfect.
platforms.
I mean, it's perfect for AR platforms.
Yep.
You know, and then you get down to the little things, and it's perfect for putting
That
on
thing
top
is-
of
that thing's
pistols.
kick butt. That thing's
One of the
fantastic.
things that I like about Holosun, SIG's following kind of the same footprint, but slight variations.
If we'd ever
there.
get one.
But they're using RMR
That's what I
mounts
thought.
for the 507.
So if you have a slide, do you have a? So if you're gonna use this one on the Glock MOS, you just need the RMR. Wow.
Yeah, just RMR mounts on there. So standard cuts. They put up with a ton of abuse.
Right.
I literally beat mine
That's
on
nice.
a daily
Well,
basis
you know
around
what's
here.
super cool though is that category in and of itself. We saw a lot of players coming into the field.
I
Right.
have a feeling that we'll
Tri-
be seeing some more.
Yeah. And Trigicon came out with that oversized one, which is super cool.
That's all right.
Yep.
Yep.
The
Right.
SRO.
You know,
you have
hugely
the
popular.
Acro from
Less popular.
Aimpoint.
Yeah, less popular right
Less
now.
popular for us civilians, but I hear it is doing pretty well. It
We're
is what some of the cool kids.
A lot of
No,
folks,
yeah,
a
no,
lot
it's
of,
under
awesome.
military
Awesome
contracts.
idea. Awesome idea. I think the
a
battery.
lot of folks go into those for their CCW guns. I mean, they're
closed emitter.
Yeah.
and get it.
especially when you get something like, you know, the SIG XL is pre-cut, the 365 XL, pop it on, boom, you got a carry
Right.
gun with an optic. You know, the 19 MOS, the 45s, the 320s. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
a
waiting.
lot of them. I think
I'm
there's
waiting for
gonna
the
be more and
48
more coming out.
and 43X to do the same thing on.
I was really thinking that they were going to go to release a 43, 48 something option for putting optics
cut,
on it.
yeah.
I'd
You may
like
get to
see
SHOT Show and
Smith
still see
Wesson come back out with
Yeah.
an optic ready full size gun. All they've got
Now.
right now is their shields. But they've got shields. They're Performance Center shields.
That is a
Loaded optic.
great pistol.
What is it?
That Performance Center
Performance
shield,
Center
Oh, yeah.
shield.
that's
Awesome,
got, we've got
awesome.
one in the case that's got an optic on it.
Optic, fiber
The
optic. sights,
trigger
nice
is
trigger.
nice. Yeah, yeah, ported slide, right? Does the slide ported on that one?
I don't know. I don't think it is on that one. I know that it is on some of
It's
them.
but it's a much better trigger.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's not an expensive gun for everything that you're getting
No,
in
it's
it.
like $800.
Yeah.
The optic they put on top of that thing was from a company called Shield Sights out of
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
It's like a $400 optic.
Yeah,
So it's. I was going to ask if it was
Expensive
developed in
optic
house.
on that side. Now the SIG variant,
Has the
which
Romeo
uses
Zero.
the same footprint,
Okay.
for the Romeo Zero.
Yeah.
If that thing ever finally gets to market, I mean, it's
It's like a-
$220.
That's
Yeah.
what's going on with
That's-
it. So, because they were marketing it with the XL 365,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
The super
Yep.
thin, I mean, it's
Yep.
a tiny optic.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
I have seen one. A rep brought one in. I have seen it, played with it. It looks really awesome. I mean, it is no wider than the 365, which means it's going to be perfect on the 365s, on the shields, on the Hello Kitty, which is another one that I like. God, it would be awesome if we could get those in stock.
The Hello Kitty?
Yeah, the Hellcat.
The Hellcat.
The Hellcat.
Okay.
the P366.
Yeah, the leap year. The 365.
It's a-
It's
we're-
the leap
I
year.
don't get all
We're,
these. I
we're,
don't
we're,
work here. I
yeah,
don't
we're,
get
we're
that
poking,
many jokes.
we're poking the bear there a little bit, but I like the Hellcat.
That's a great
It's
gun. We
it's a
shot
nice gun.
Dustin's. We
Yeah,
shot Dustin's
it's
in a
a
match
nice-
here. And it
it's a
was
nice
awesome.
gun,
It was
yeah.
dead
Awesome.
accurate.
The only downside I've got on that thing is it's hard not to shoot it fast.
Well, I mean, you kind of have that problem with guns in general.
Well, I do, yes, but
I've
that
seen
gun
them
just,
shoot.
it shoots well, and so
It wants
you
to
drive
shoot.
it up and you press the trigger, slide wiggles around a little bit, and it just stops. And it just stops right
Where
where you
shoot it
had it
again.
last time, and you're like,
Yeah, it was great.
guess you're ready again. Oh, it's ready again. Ready, ready, ready. So that's the only problem that I have with it is it's very easy to shoot fast. And very easy
great
to
problem to
point
have, by
and
the way.
shoot. So
Yeah, great problem to have.
for a concealed carry gun, man, it is
Yeah. Great option.
really nice.
Great
Yeah,
option.
I agree.
Really nice.
I did see, yeah, we can talk about that stuff some other time, but I did see, is it the 43? Which one's the double stack Glock?
43X and
43X?
48.
Those are
Okay.
not double stacks.
Somebody makes
Those are single stacks.
Shield Arms. makes-
Shield Arms has
Yeah,
a double stack magazine
15 rounds.
that's supposed to turn the 43X into a 15 rounder.
That's what I'm talking about. And it's, if you look at it,
That's a 19 killer.
I mean, that's
That's
almost,
crazy,
they're not
right?
too far apart. So, I mean, that's probably the closest.
A little bit longer.
Maybe, but not if you measure up against the actual back.
Yeah. Let's see.
No.
Yeah.
I'm down on the ground. I'm on the table. Yeah, I mean, a half-inch tops.
A little bit different in length there.
I mean, that's minor. There's a little
Little bit different there.
But I
But
think even
I
the
believe
shield mag sits a little
If,
flush.
I think for a fair comparison,
Bless you.
Sorry about that.
you done?
Uh-huh.
For a fair comparison, you'd have to compare it to an XL,
Oh, yeah.
and the XL is
Yeah.
almost identical.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
barrel's
Well,
just
no,
a touch longer.
I'm literally
Right?
comparing it to this one though.
Yeah, I get
I mean,
it.
you're
But if you
really
put a
close.
15 round mag in this, it's going to have a longer grip on it.
Yeah,
right?
that's true too.
So whereas the XL, you can just get up flush
It's just
with
amazing
15.
how much gun you can
But
get for
I'm,
small
I
size
think,
these days.
yeah, I think you're right. I think if that 15 round flush mag can become available and is very functional,
If it's
reliable, I think that's going to change things
Yeah, 'cause I
considerably.
haven't seen anybody out there with reviews on whether it's reliable. A lot of guys that have just now gotten them in
Yeah,
hand,
they're just not getting them in hand.
and they're like,
Yeah,
so far so cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
but we don't know.
Yep.
So stay tuned. So I am tuned.
A former local guy who makes holsters, by the way, he got them and he's going to give a thorough review. But I've had nothing but good luck with
That's
good
good.
luck with Shield Arms.
That's
good
exciting.
Luck with other stuff.
That's
So-
exciting. And they're not plastic though, are they? Are they
No,
in alloy?
they're metal. They're metal
Yeah.
magazines with. I think they
Yeah.
probably might have a plastic.
All metal,
base pad, rubberized base pad or something.
I think they're metal. I
Oh,
don't
metal
know
base
about the base pad specifically. I know they are all metal. They basically took the polymer off of the Glock, made it full width, and that enabled them to actually
It's not quite a double
fully
stack.
set
it's
the
like a
rounds
stagger.
side by side
Right.
as opposed to the slightly canted that they do right
Yeah.
now.
Still.
I have
awesome
to admit
stuff.
though, I kind of expected Glock to do something silly like this, because even when they like have their 19s and so forth, they just make their double stack magazines single stack. I think they just get confused with like, oh, we want something smaller.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've already got, the double stacks sitting there waiting to launch. Just haven't told anybody about them.
Oh, who knows, right?
It's Glock, I doubt it.
I don't know.
We have
You
Glock
don't
lover.
want a double stack Glock.
Glock lover, Glock not lover.
They use the force on you. He's good. It's worked.
You mean like the one that's on my hip now?
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah, like you can have all the colors you want as long as it's black.
Like my Model Ts and my Glocks.
Unlike SIG and FN that are like, you can have all the FDE.
In one gun.
in one gun.
I'm sorry. right.
Well, the 19X is fairly
Yeah.
close to each other.
If you want to see how many shades of FDE there are, buy a SCAR.
Oh, right. No, I
Get you a SCAR with a 320.
Now you're
Ryan
rocking and
uses one of
rolling.
those, and they're great guns. But early on, someone told me the UGG boot thing, and I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So
I know the stock.
I
Yeah,
just stick with my
that's
ARs.
funny.
Yeah, it's rough. So let's see, what else do we have? Other popular items that we really weren't even able to pull out here were Trijicon HD night sights
Oh,
for
yeah.
Glock.
Great,
there's another
great,
one of the
yeah.
really popular optics.
I'm a big fan of if you're going to use your firearm for defensive purposes, have night sights. Trigicon's a great choice.
Flip up sights.
Always good to have,
Always
even if you're
great
going to run an optic. Yep.
On a gun, even if it has optics on it, great to have.
Put a
on there
flip-up
as
sight
well.
on it.
What else do we have? Cleaning kits. Cleaning kits. That was huge for accessories, obviously, and a gun needs to be cleaned.
Well, and the breakthrough stuff that we
That's
carry
good.
now, fantastic stuff.
good
The
stuff.
bore snake,
Good
if you're
stuff.
still using a push rod, welcome to the 2010s. Get a bore snake.
There's still time.
Yeah.
There's still time. There's still time.
People out there understand what I'm saying. They know what I'm saying.
The 202nd.
Get a bore
century.
snake. It will save you lots of time. You won't crimp them. You won't get stuff stuck in the barrel trying to push it through.
Yep.
Bore snakes rule.
They were really nice. Tactical pens, small flashlights, like the Stylus Pro, my Streamlight, really good option.
Pocket knives.
Pocket knives.
This Kershaw QRC,
I think that was the number one.
number one seller.
had.
It's just, yep. I mean, it's sub $40.
Really nice.
G10.
Yep, it's easy. It's a one-handed fast deploy out of the pocket. I literally, you just, you
Go
know,
either way with
you
it.
can have 4 or 5 of those things and one in every pocket if you're Phil.
Okay.
So, but a quality
100
knife
pocket
is
or
something
Phil.
that should be in your kit anyway.
It's not spring assist, it's just one of them.
Yep,
It's nice. Kershaw.
Let's see what else.
Kershaw in conjunction with Emerson. Flashlights,
Keltec Sub 2000 was another top rifle.
yeah, yep.
Oh yeah, the folder.
Which we've actually got some on the wall now, so.
Yeah, we've got one out there. So yeah, that's kind of 2019 in a wrap.
Anybody, if Keltec's watching, I want a sub 2K and 10 millimeter.
Oh yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
And something
Everything
maybe
is-
that like gave you
That
an
takes
optic.
Glock mags.
Like,
Oh,
we
right.
put, like,
Yeah,
a little
and we need a
cut out the barrel, like maybe the barrel. Could
we need
come
a
down
flip
so
to
it
side
folds
optic
up.
mount for it,
Flip
right?
side up.
There are a
it is.
couple companies that do that.
Yep.
That's where it's at.
Big things coming up this year, though. Springfield's indoor national match. For those of you IDPA guys, May
That's
2nd is the date.
May 2nd.
Where is that
May
again?
2nd is the date. It'll be here.
It's here?
Yeah, here.
Already approved and ready to roll, huh?
For all of you FUDs out there, we are doing a
Colt Python giveaway. Cool.
And in here.
1911 classic FUD gun match.
All right,
All
2 World Wars.
1911s.
2 World Wars.
I don't know a whole lot about this. Dustin and I are still in the early days of figuring this out, but we do know August 29th, 1911s, you'll have 45 and big
9mm,
calibers in
right.
there. You'll have 9 mics that'll be separate. There'll
Okay.
be something with like the 2011 double stack 1911, like an open class thing.
So totally outlaw. We're not talking about an existing body. We're just
totally
gonna make our own
outlaw.
rules. Go full FUD.
Yeah, it'll be totally awesome. Yes, there'll be prizes for dressing up in your best Yosemite Sam appearance. Whatever you need to do.
Somebody Sam had a Python.
Hey, he's a wheel gun guy.
Yeah, he's a real good guy. Yeah.
So I guess we're like Beetle Bailey. He'd be from the 1911 era, right?
Yeah, Gomer
And
Pyle.
Sarge, Gomer Pyle.
Yep.
Like, they're all 1911.
Or Arlie Armory.
Yeah.
Army.
There you go.
Yeah.
Although I think he finished up as a Glock.
That was
guy.
1911.
He was a Glock
Yeah,
guy
but
there.
in Full Metal Jacket.
He was still Glock guy there at the end.
Actually, I don't think he even shot a gun in Full Metal Jacket.
no,
anyway.
he shot his mouth off.
It was
He,
friggin'
yeah, he did need a gun. He had the mouth.
One of the
You
greatest
said, so those
characters
are the,
ever.
The big matches May
Yeah, those
2nd.
are the big ones, May 2nd, and then the
August
Fun
29th.
Gun match in the 29th. Another big one, especially for you IDPA guys, and then all the rest of us that just like to shoot stuff. IDPA has this postal match thing, so
Yeah.
we'll be doing
I
that
was going to ask about
4
that.
different times. So you can shoot it in 4 different classes,
Perfect.
and you can get a point for each one of those.
Nice.
So for you IDPA guys, points are the name of the game.
Yes, they are.
This will be a
to
chance
get
to
the
come in,
national.
shoot 4 times for 4 points. So with the indoor match, that does like how does this do that? Like that?
Yeah, I don't understand.
5 points that you can get for shooting matches here at the range. So
That's awesome. So
that'll be coming up.
when are those due? Do we know?
First one, I think, don't quote me on this, and yell at Dustin for not letting me be quoted on this, but I believe next Thursday would be the first one.
Okay.
And then we will probably run it on the 2-gun weeks
Until 2 guns starts.
until 2-gun starts back.
2
up.
guns starting.
So I'm not sure if 2-gun is going to start in March or April.
Okay.
It might be a thing that we need a bunch of people that were like in that shoot off group to kind of come together and be
Talk
like,
about
hey, if we start in March, we will be able to do the finals in November. If we wait till April like we've been doing, final shoot-offs would be in December. So we got to figure out which one is better for everybody. Do they want to try and pump it to the November or the December as usual?
It's fine. I feel less compelled to wear my Santa outfit if it's in November.
See, so we should keep it in
No.
December.
Just get him a turkey outfit.
The turkey.
Dude, that would
He can be the turkey and you can be the pilgrim.
Wait a minute.
All right, I mean-
He certainly was this year.
I got lucky. You know that.
That's not true.
But anyway, so that's 2019 in a wrap. 2020 is going to be huge. We got a lot of big things coming. I know we're already working with a number of vendors to get the vendors out here for 2020.
Gonna,
Sig,
Like you did with
that's gonna
6
be-
days?
Springfield,
Okay, those are
Glock,
great.
CMMG,
Century wants to come out.
Century,
C-
which will include
Canic.
the Canic line,
Yep.
CZ line.
Which, by the way, the Canic line made a big push late in the year with all of their models that they came out with.
The Canic is
for us,
really awesome
really great pistol.
for a really reasonable price.
Yep.
It's ridiculous how little they cost for the features they have.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll have big things coming in 2020. So if there's anything specific you want to see at SHOT Show, shout out to me, either in the thing, shoot me an email, come stop by, throw
Messages, whatever you want to do.
things at me, whatever you want to do. If not, come in for some training. Girls, come in next Wednesday. Girls
Girls
night.
shoot free.
There's still some spots open. Girls shoot free on Wednesdays as it is.
And then we got
Stay
girls just
tuned,
wanna have
guys,
guns, yeah.
for the guys night coming up. Trying to run through final details on that. Other than that, CCW this weekend, basic handgun this weekend, basic competition shooting next week.
Excited
on
about that
Tuesday.
one. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. I know nothing about that because Dustin doesn't give us any real good info on that, but it's next Tuesday, or it's
Yep.
scheduled for next
Yep.
Tuesday. So
And pay
Is that an
attention.
evening? Sorry.
Go
Is that
ahead. No,
evening?
no.
Is that an
so.
evening thing? So
Think
like if
so.
I have
It
friends
is.
who work but want to talk about, I can tell them to come here and check out the basic
So
competition?
something else along that line, pay attention to it. Were these 1-hour fundamental courses
fundamentals.
with the
yeah.
mag
those,
changes
great
and
idea.
trigger reset and failure to feeds or malfunctions?
Open, move, and shoot. It'll all be that
That's-
kind of
yeah.
same structure,
Such a good
rotation
idea.
All
of,
super.
of stuff.
And
So-
those 1-hour, they're not really classes. They're kind of clinics. You're going to leave here with some tool sets that you're going to be able to take home and practice at home to improve that kind of stuff. All going to be really good stuff.
Whose idea was that?
yes,
I don't know.
Phil.
It was
a number of different people that had all come up with that.
Genius idea.
Phil said we're
Phil
doing it.
had the basics of let's
Yeah.
do these super clinics. but
Because you
the
could
moving and
focus them on
shooting-
very specific skills in competition too.
And-
I mean, it could be
yep.
competition shotgun reloading, which is something most of us
Yeah,
suck at.
that's
right?
going to be one of them. Also, stay tuned because in 2020 you're going to see holster qualification for the range.
Yes.
Thank you.
To allow holster draws.
Yep.
So we'll see that coming.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Bunch of changes that we got. Some
I
we
would
can't
say
even talk about
bunches,
right now.
bunches and bunches of improvements.
There's a bunch of changes
If you're a
in
member
that.
here, you're
Well,
gonna you're gonna love 2020.
And if you're not a member,
you better
gonna
get-
wanna be a
you better
member
get one.
for 2020.
You're gonna love 2020 just
I
a little
guarantee.
less. Just a little less love. Turkey outfit done.
All right,
Great.
anything
Thanks.
else?
Anything gentlemen.
Anything else?
No.
Are we
Look
ready?
forward- Come compete up here though. Come shoot with us.
Yes, come out and shoot with us.
What'd he say?
Show him how to shoot
Yeah,
the right way.
Right. Need regular
Between-
reminders.
Between your wife and Grant's wife, we get you, they're both out here making them feel silly.
All right.
My wife's a good shooter.
Thanks everybody. Come see us.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me,
We're gonna go
gentlemen.
push
Happy
the
New
button
Year.
things.
Yep. Oh.
I gotta push the button
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
We
Yep.
should
Yep.
figure out. Bye, guys.
Gonna leave me alone in the frame with all these toys?